This is going to be a bit of a tough topic to hear about today, so I think you and I are going to have to agree on a couple of things before we... Oh, sorry. If we're going to get through this topic, can we say in 2024, in Thailand, the minimum wage is 400 baht? And can we also agree that in Australia, minimum wage is $176, min wage, for someone over 20 working 8 hours a day. So assuming 400 baht is a day's earnings here, then a quarter of that is 100 baht. So a quarter of a day's earnings is 100 baht. A quarter of a day's earnings in Australia, a quarter of 176 is $44 AUD. So the equivalent earnings is 100 baht earned equals $44 in Australia. Now this is where things get really crazy in Thailand. I'm going to pull in here to the 7-Eleven. Check this out. So let's start with the most outrageously priced item, SPF 50 Plus sunblock. An item which all Australians are intimately acquainted with. We slap it on like it's going out of fashion. It costs very little in Australia, this stuff, right? Can you see how much it costs here? 499 baht. I digress. So we learned that 8 hours work here in a 7-Eleven earns you 400 baht. To buy a bottle of sunscreen is 499 baht. That is the equivalent of over a day's wage. Now bear with me. If you work over 8 hours at 7-Eleven and you want to buy some sunscreen, and that sunscreen costs you over a day's wage, we're talking about spending over 176 Australian dollars on a single bottle of sunscreen, are we not? Am I missing something here? So we're cutting through soy welcome. Jomtien. Yeah, boys, thank you. Awesome friendly chaps. Jomtien Beach is noticeably quieter during this heat wave. All right, I've crunched the numbers. That is equivalent to 1 1/4 days work in Australia, $220. How much would it cost you to buy a pot of sunscreen in Australia? Under $10, less than 5% of the quoted figure. It is wretchedly hot in Pattaya. Nothing like it is in Isan. I've watched Ricky from Isan, his videos, and it's 45 degrees Celsius up there where he is, and that is disgusting. Bangkok's not a great deal better where Keezy is. Down here, we're lucky. We have the ocean breeze, and certainly about 30 minutes ago, the afternoon breeze picked up and the temperature has completely changed. It has dropped significantly. Now let's do an English comparison. If you're a tourist traveling here on holiday and you pay 200 baht for a scrambled egg breakfast, that ain't no thing, right? You can sit at a cafe across the road from Jomtien Beach and be waited on the whole time, all for the bargain price of £4. Sounds like a good deal, right? Now, let's remember that 200 baht here is half a day's earnings. Half of 400, 200 baht, right? But in England in 2024, according to ACAS, the Advisory and Conciliation Arbitration Service, as of 2024, the daily minimum wage in England is £86.94. Half of that, £43.47. Thus, the equivalent you would be paying for your breakfast here is £43 for scrambled eggs. Yeah? Let's jump back on the bike, we'll go for a ride, and I want to do an American comparison next. Oops, I don't think we're welcome up here. Oh, fuck. Yes. Now, let's move on to an American comparison where the federal minimum wage is still at $7.25 US per hour. Where's a Fortuner? Let's find a Fortuner. They're usually one every 5 cars. Okay, there's one. Using my girlfriend Lily's car as an example, a 2017 Toyota Fortuner 4-wheel drive. Now to fill up that tank costs exactly 2,000 baht. 2,000 baht divided by 5 days is 400 baht. So it costs, on minimum wage, 5 full days work here in Thailand to fill up that vehicle. Let's compare that to what it costs an American to fill up their car. I'm gonna have to pull over and consult Google for this. That is 4 days full-time work in order to fill up that truck for someone here in Thailand on minimum wage. Can you imagine in America someone working for 4 days just to fill up their car? And please, if you think I'm wrong, let me know. All right, back on the road. Sometimes I feel guilty when I walk into a 7-Eleven store here in Pattaya or Jomtien, Thailand, and I buy just a satchel of laundry detergent, 1 soda water, and 1 cheese toastie. Now I know it's gonna come to about 200 baht, and I feel guilty knowing that what I've just purchased in 30 seconds is the equivalent of half a day's wage for that person behind the counter serving me. That's staggering. I'd love to know what happened to this fantastic old live music venue and bar on the beach here, just in the forecourt of the glamorous Cetus condo. On my first trip to visit Keezy a couple of years ago, he took me there and it was absolutely thriving. I wonder what on earth went wrong. That was post-COVID too, so you can't blame the pandemic. All right, what time is it? I think it's 5:15 down here at South Jomtien. And you know what, I'm impressed. I think people have come out. They've come out to enjoy the breeze on this hot afternoon. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so I've just finished riding through the part of Jomtien Beach Road, which is now one way. And it was so pleasant heading down one way. I gotta say, I'm the complete convert. Do some lane filtering here, Sambo. Woo! As soon as we escape the single lane part, we go back to the traditional original two-way, and my gosh, you can see the difference straight away. When a few weeks ago, I found out that they were making Jomtien Beach Road, well, 2/3 of it, one way, I freaked because I traverse it up and down to get home. And it's super convenient. All right, so in summary, any Thai person on minimum wage, they can't be shopping at 7-Eleven. They cannot be buying things like 50 baht cheese toasties and imported Corona beer. Any imported goods is off the table. That ain't happening. So how do locals on this wage survive? And a lot of people do survive on this, so how's it done? I really have no idea. I had to interview my girlfriend, Lily, who's a Thai native, to get to the bottom of these questions. She grew up in abject poverty in the northeast part of Isan, northern east part of Thailand. And she said her grandma, her mum, they must be diligent with their budget by buying things up front at the first of the month, or whenever you receive your income. The very first thing they do is they go to the store, or they go to the market, or they go to the farm next door, and they buy a month's worth of rice. Then flavor essentials like chili, garlic, all the usual things you'd expect, soy sauce. Now that can keep you alive. What comes after that? Well, protein. And you know the breadth of kinds of protein that people eat here. Anything from steak to pork, to fish, to shrimp, to insects, to little grubs. Mainly all of the above. There are so many Thais. They look like out-of-towners. Come down to stay in all these pool villas and little bungalows down here near Soi 19, Soi 20, Soi 18, Jomtien. Check out my apparatus, how embarrassing. But how good is this? Ding dong falang, I know, sorry, my bad. I shouldn't be on the footpath, but smite me. All this video has really done is raise more questions than answers, as usual, which has led me to the next topic that I want to look at, having a close look at how local people here who are on this minimum wage, how they survive. Exactly, I want to see it. I need to see it and understand it. So Lily's going to take me on a tour of Pattaya, and we're going to meet some low-income families, and we're going to find out how they do it.